If you could just take a minute and introduce yourself and and explain what you do in your profession.
Okay, well, my name is Karen Hill, and I'm the director of the Southern Tier Child Advocacy Center. The Child Advocacy Center is a place where children come to talk about their abuse. We work together as a team through the center, so when an allegation of abuse arises, law enforcement or child protective investigators will call us. They'll bring the child there. They'll conduct a forensic interview, which is an interview that is non-leading, unbiased. They have to have the child tell them what happened in their own words. We have medical providers on staff. We have 2 medical doctors that come in and conduct medical exams on children if it's warranted. And we have therapists there. We have family advocates there that are with the family from the very moment they walk through the door, through the court process, helping them secure any services that they may need as a result of the abuse. And then our center staff are there to kind of help facilitate the whole process. Our prosecutors are part of our team, and we just all work together to try to not further traumatize a child once a child has disclosed abuse or once an allegation has arisen.
Perfect. What are the most important things teachers and education professionals should know about the work that you and your staff do?
Well, our center has been open for, next month it'll be 5 years. And in 5 years, we have provided services to over 1,300 children from our communities. That's Cattaraugus and Allegheny County. You know, we know from the research that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys may be sexually abused at some point before their 18th birthday. We also know from the research that only 1 in 10 ever talk about their abuse. Oftentimes it is someone within the family or within the child's network. It's someone that they know, and it's very difficult for them to talk about. So it's very important that we're all working together. When you think about a classroom of 20 children, that's an average of 5 children in a classroom that may be impacted by abuse. So it's very important that we're all working together to provide supportive services for these children and families.
What can teachers and educators do to be good team members in the wide community response to child abuse?
Sure. Well, it's difficult to think about a student experiencing trauma. It's easier to think that children are resilient and that it does not impact them. They're in class doing what they need to do, so everything is okay. But what we know is that children are impacted by trauma. When a child is exposed to abuse as a result of that abuse, 1 in 3 children may experience severe symptoms of PTSD. At this age, they don't have the coping skills to be able to manage these behaviors, so oftentimes it's more impactful. They may act out inappropriately. That may be their only response to the feelings that they're having. Behavior may sometimes be a result of what happened last night or what's going on in that child's life. The impact of violence on children is well documented. We know it impacts grades, it impacts attendance, it impacts their graduation rates. It's important that we respond in a way that is supportive of a child. A healthy child has to be healthy overall, physically and psychologically. It's important that we as adults educate ourselves on the signs and symptoms of abuse and how to appropriately respond to these allegations. And then once an allegation does come to light, it's important that we work together to put into interventions in place that help support the child and help support the family, because abuse can impact a family in multiple ways. The fact is children can and do heal from abuse. With appropriate interventions, they can go on to live happy, healthy lives.
A couple other questions that just kind of popped to my head. I know you showed me around your building the other day. Maybe if you could kind of explain what resources you have at the center.
Certainly. Well, right at the center we have a staff of 6 people, including myself, there's 7. We have 2 family advocates on staff. As I said, they are with the family from the moment that they walk in the center. We're a lockdown facility, so at no time is an individual who does these offenses against children allowed on our campus. The family advocates greet them at the door. We never leave children alone or caregivers. We try to create that family atmosphere. It is a facility, however, as you saw, it's decorated very child-friendly, home-like furniture, soft colors and things like that to make it a welcoming environment. It's very difficult for children to talk about abuse, especially if it's someone within their family unit. As I mentioned, in the 1,300 cases that we have had at the center, approximately 85% are sexual abuse of children in some form or another. So it could be exposure to or actual acts. So it's important that we create an environment that allows them to be comfortable. We have a clinician on staff who specializes in trauma-focused treatment. Everyone who works out of the center, whether it be the law enforcement investigators, child protective service investigators, our medical providers, everyone is specifically trained on how to respond and how to provide interventions for children who have been abused.
Maybe you could talk about some of the technology and the actual building itself.
Sure. We have 2 observation rooms and 2 interview rooms. One interview room is geared more towards younger children, and the other room is more geared towards adolescent, teenage children. We DVD record all of our interviews, and we're one of the very first centers in New York State that started to do that. Not a lot do that. One person will interview the child, and the interviewers in our community are our child protective and law enforcement individuals. One person will interview the child while the other team member watches via closed-circuit TV. We are the first county in New York State where our family court judges have allowed a video recording to be submitted in lieu of a child's testimony within our court systems. And other counties in New York State are actually calling us to say, how did you get this passed? How did you get this through? You can't do that in criminal court. In criminal court in New York State, the accuser has the right to face their accused, no matter how old that person is. So oftentimes our prosecutors really our investigators are collecting as much evidence as they can to build a very strong, solid case, and our prosecutors are working very hard to not have to put children on the stand. So they try to work, to alleviate that.
Excuse me. Maybe you could share with what other agencies or groups do you work closely with day to day?
As part of our team, our immediate team, are the prosecutors from Allegheny and Cattaraugus County. So Keith Schlepp and Lori Riemann are our 2 primary prosecutors, and they have each office has a crime victims advocate there that helps to, once an arrest has been made or the case has kind of come through the center, they help that child to understand, in that family, to understand what the court process is like. Our Sheriff's Department, Tim Whitcomb and his staff are part of our team. New York State Police is part of our team from both Allegheny and Cattaraugus counties. Olean Police Department, Salamanca Police Department, and Wellsville Police Department, Cuba Police Department, and Friendship all kind of investigate their cases through the center. We have 2 primary care physicians on staff, Dr. Anne-Marie Zimmerman and Dr. Pam Salzman. Pam is from Olean Medical Group, and Anne-Marie is from Universal Primary Care. Olean General Hospital and Jones Memorial are part of our team, and they help to provide services. Olean General will come right to the center and do lab draws, collect specimens, anything that we need. Both hospitals are very, very supportive. Dr. Craig Zuckerman is a psychologist on our team, and he is instrumental, especially when it comes to the he's a forensic interview specialist, but also when it comes to the treatment. He helps us to understand, what treatments are proven to be effective. We do a lot of research to look at programming and treatments and interventions that are proven to be effective and that have research behind them, and Dr. Zuckerman is instrumental in helping us with that. The child protective agencies from both of our counties, Cattaraugus and Allegheny County, are part of our staff. Who am I leaving out? So it's tough when you start naming people because you always leave. And then we have folks right on the staff. As I said, we have 2 family advocates, we have a therapist, we have a case manager, mental health case manager that helps to facilitate the whole process, get clients scheduled. We have a program coordinator who, when a call comes in, she's the one who kind of assembles the team. She calls everybody, gets them there to the center. Our whole focus is to bring as many parts of the investigation and the treatment right to the center, to the family, so that they don't have to go to multiple different places.
Okay. Just wrapping up, is there anything else that you feel would be important to add when talking with future educators?
It's very important that when you have a suspicion, or you don't have to have proof, if you have a suspicion, it's important to act, to react, and to make a call to the New York State Central Registry. And if they don't take it and you really feel strongly about it, call your local law enforcement agency. But it's also equally as important to watch how we respond to allegations or suspicions. The child oftentimes looks for an adult's reaction to what they're telling them. And that can impact whether or not that child is comfortable to continue to tell someone else about their situation. And so it's really important that we remain calm, allow the child to, if they're disclosing, to say what they're going to say. Don't ask leading questions, because a simple question can bias an interview in one way or another. Something as simple as, if a child has a bruise on their face, did somebody hit you there? Versus, can you tell me what happened?
Right.
The first one is very leading and very suggestive. Yeah. So it's, you can never be faulted or get into trouble from making a call if it's done in good faith. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's better to err on the side of caution,
right,
and let the system investigate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you.